Hi, I'm Scott Ott with Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, and this is the Rocky Horror Right Angle Show.
We've been doing the time warp backstage.
Doing a time warp relentlessly.
You ain't seen nothing till you've seen two geezers and Steve just screaming time warp songs at the top of their lungs. It was very impressive. And Steve divulged. Can I divulge, Steve?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Private part of your life. Steve divulged that he was actually even more into it than I and Bill were in our time. That he was one of those guys who was like staging the movie.
Live cast. This was in Arcata, California, back around 1990 to 92, I think. The cast name was Carnal Atrocities, and I played Brad most weeks.
Brad.
This was a paying gig, Stephen?
No, but we paid for the sets
such.
and the props and stuff by selling bags of crap. It was a brown paper bag with your toast, your noisemaker, a couple other things I can't remember. We sold those outside the theater.
Oh, when you said bags of crap earlier, I didn't realize what you were talking about.
Those were our bags of crap, yes.
Okay, so that's kind of
I remember doing the time warp.
That's a vague word there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, like most meetings, we don't start on time, we don't stay on topic, and we drag on too long. That's what the purpose of this is. This is our pre-production meeting for this week's episodes of Right Angle, and I would like to defer the choice, even though I won the toss, and I would like to defer my choice until the second half, if possible. Can you tell I don't have anything to say? This is,
yeah, it happens.
This is
in the spirit of Steve Spurrier's Florida Gators from the Fun and Gun days, I elect to receive. I've won the coin toss, and I elect to receive.
Mr. Whittle,
we're going to be
chosen
so
to receive.
It's on me to go first?
To receive. Yes, Stephen Green. Stephen Green, go ahead. Sorry, I'm not allowed to do old Cosby
I just
routines
elected to
anymore.
receive. How does Stephen Green go first?
You want to do it, Bill?
Oh, you want to go first? Oh, well, then
yes.
please.
We've got to mark this occasion.
You always want to kick off in the first half.
Yeah, can the people who
so you
are,
get the ball in the second half? Except Steve Spurrier always elected to receive because he wanted to be up 40 points by halftime.
We have fans who I think transcribe everything that ever happens, anything we ever say, and so I want you to put a special series of asterisks next to this program because Bill has actually chosen to go first.
No Smod, no Yellowstone.
No, I don't mind going. I'm happy to go early in the backstage show. It's the recording one.
That's right.
Have prayers for.
Okay, well, I will allow you to go first with this caveat that you would explain what the word caveat means.
Caveat means it's Latin that means caveat, and it basically means that you should. When you want to caveat something, as in caveat emptor. That's what it means.
I'm actually driving the new Hyundai Caveat.
It means beware, doesn't it? The caveat means a beware, with this awareness when you say with this caveat.
Yes, caveat emptor means let the buyer beware. So anyway, go ahead, Bill.
Caveat emptor means let the buyer beware.
That's what I just said.
Ventor. No, you said caveat ventor.
Caveat emptor, yeah.
No, I don't even know that word. What did you just say?
I thought it was caveat vendetor or something like that means let the seller beware.
Anyway, caveat is what I was trying to say.
Never mind. Here we go. I am pleased and delighted to observe this battle between Ocasio-Cortez and Donald Trump, and the reason I'm happy about it is she is committing the Democratic Party to absolute suicide in 2020. She's personally committing them to suicide, and what I mean by that is when she proposes. No more air travel, no more sea cruises, the cows with little plastic baggies attached to their rear ends and whatever else. The total remodeling of every house in America. And imagine the prosperity when we spend trillions of dollars to make our houses more energy expensive.
Oh, did you hear how she's going to pay for it?
No.
They're going to print the money.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's
Can't we
great.
just get Mexico to pay for it?
No. This is the point, though. I think this is actually an interesting point. Everybody assumes that she's a nut, and everybody knows she is a nut, and everybody knows that these things won't happen because they can't happen. But she's leading the Democratic Party on positions that are staked out by the far left, and the Democratic Party has to follow. They have to. I heard Nancy Pelosi just recently say, "Well, we think the thing about the Green New Deal is that it shows just how aware of this Americans are, and how excited or how conscious they are about all these. Yeah, they're real excited about turning in their cars and having to pay $400,000 of retrofitting to their house so that they can buy electricity that costs 4 times as much, and they're real excited about the idea that they can't travel by jet anywhere. Obviously, members of Congress will have to continue to travel by jet because
that's necessity.
And I think once you become a member of Congress, that's probably something you should. That's a privilege you're probably going to need for the rest of your life. But the thing I'm saying is that while she's making all these wacky far left things, the Democratic Party has gone so far left in terms of its pitch that how do they get out of this? Right? I mean, if they go down the road, if they go down Ocasio-Cortez's road, then Trump wins in a landslide. And if they don't, what happens to this fired-up socialist base,
Oh, Obama was kind of a genius at presenting his positions as moderate. He staked out the high ground between the Republicans and his own party. It was all a crock, but he was very skilled at it. Exactly. But now it seems like the whole premise of the Democratic Party, or at least a majority of the 87 people who have announced that they're going to run for president in 2020, is that babies can be killed for using the wrong personal pronoun to a transgender person.
That's right. And
or for no reason whatsoever.
Somebody said something that was incredible. They said that that with this new law in New York, an infant can be killed at any point up to the point where it commits a capital crime.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. And,
I mean, terrible, but brilliant.
The people are talking about wearing MABA hats now, MABA hats, make Antonia a bartender again.
Alexandria?
Alexandria. Keep saying Antonia. Alexandria. It's serious, and it's catastrophic for them, because you now have a Democrat who is the Democratic darling with the spotlight. She's getting news wherever she goes and wherever she speaks. The spotlight's on her. She gets all the attention she wants. The entire half of the left of the Democratic Party that's insane is rallying around her, and it's almost like a third party candidate. It's like it's almost going to be like having Bernie Sanders run an independent campaign, because you're just basically making statements and promises that are so far left and so socialist that if Donald Trump ever has a chance to say, look, I'm in favor of cheaper energy, I'm in favor of you having more money, I'm in favor of you flying vacations around the world, go to Thailand, I'm in favor of you taking a cruise, these people want to shut down air travel, they want to do this, want to do all this, so that for something that doesn't work, for something that costs a fortune, and for a problem that is at best a little sketchy, then I think it's an enormously positive thing.
And Bill, the politics of this are, you essentially have two Democratic parties right now. You've got the Democrats, who are old school, like Nancy Pelosi.
Yep,
they're just on the left. And then you've got the Democratic Socialists. And the Democrats can't afford to let the Democratic Socialists either form their own party or sit on their hands on Election Day.
But
it's
that's
too
what's
big a block.
happening. That's what's happening in front of our eyes. AOC is staking out Democratic Party positions that are so radical that the radicals in the party will now expect the Democrats to live up to that. And if they go down that road, they'll lose enormously. And if they don't go down that road and they lose their hyperactive lunatic base, then they're done too. Hooray.
I forget where I saw this, and I want to say that it was one of our viewers or members on the video, the Bill Whittle Now episode that we did about the New York abortion law, the new Reproductive Health Act, that was saying that if he were in a national park or a state park and he made a breakfast of a clutch of eggs that he found, and then a game warden came along and told him that he couldn't do that because those were bald eagle eggs, and if he just said, well, no, it's just a cluster of cells. It wasn't, and the guy says, well, it's going to be a bald eagle, so that's a crime. You can't eat bald eagle eggs. And I just thought, you probably can't do that, can you?
Probably can't.
No.
Weird how that works.
Got to take that out of the criminal code now. It's a camper's choice. Okay, well, that sounds like a fun topic, Bill. Stephen Green, would you further delay my eventual
I would
meltdown?
love to. Before I get into my topic, exactly how long would you like me to stretch this out?
They used to use this symbol when we were on public TV doing fundraising.
Yeah. Stretch it out. Hey, so more of this.
Stretch it out.
Yeah. Stretch it out.
And
So
what does the fox say?
You do this when you're ready, and I'm just going to ask you to pretend to listen.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you don't even have to do that. I want to talk about what's going on at the Washington Post. Their motto ever since Trump was elected, or right before, I can't remember, is "Democracy dies in darkness."
Which I must say every time I hear is actually their mission statement.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
It sounds like a Batman saying,
And we've got another example of just that. It's another. This one isn't even an allegation. This is one of their VPs admitting that ranking editors spiked the Fairfax rape allegation story. And, of course, now we've had 3 or 4 more women come out.
Now, this is not Fairfax, Virginia. This is the Lieutenant Governor
of Virginia.
Justin Fairfax,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. They said, I want to get to this quote. This is from one of the VPs. I don't have their name right here. VP of Communications, Chris Karate, told Big League Politics that the decision to spike the story was unanimous among the entire group of ranking editors not to publish because it didn't meet our standards. And I think it's fair for the rest of us to ask, what are your standards?
No, of course it didn't meet their standards.
Are we still doing this?
Are they publishing those standards? Do we get? There should be. If there is a standard, that's kind of like, when you look at a map, every good cartographer has in the corner of the map has the standard. They have
There's the legend,
unit
the
of
key.
measurement, the legend, the key. That's right. And so if there is such a standard by which we should evaluate their product, I think that ought to be in every issue and readily available on the website.
And that little bar says "Elect Democrats." And
now I did see that story, and they said that there was not enough there. They're unsubstantiated, and frankly, Steve, there are a lot of cases of sexual assault that don't get pursued around the country that probably happen just because there's not enough evidence to bring the case, either because the woman won't testify or can't testify in a credible manner.
I thought every woman had to be believed.
Yeah, me too.
That's right. Not at the Washington Post, Bill.
Scott, what kind of puts lie to that? It's a great theory, but so much of reporting, as we discussed, or as you discussed during my members segment, my lightning round last week, is so much reporting isn't this is what happened and these are the facts, but it's who said what about whom and what did the other guy say in response.
Allegations
and when that's your standard of reporting, what standard do you have to squash a story like this?
Well, and they are, I wonder if they were the first to race to press with the story of Jeff Bezos's extramarital affair. We did an episode of Bill Whittle Now that just posted today about that and about the alleged blackmail attempt by American Media Incorporated, the National Enquirer, saying that they're going to release some of the selfies that they got from between Jeff Bezos and his paramour. So, something tells me that the Washington Post did not race to publish that information as quickly as they might have if it was, let's say, Jared Kushner.
Something also tells me that that Jeff Bezos, who's one of the architects of the electronic surveillance state, must be wondering why this didn't. He was on. What's it called? He was private browsing. He doesn't know how those pictures got shared. He certainly didn't post them. It's almost like somehow somebody was able to look into his computer files, his most personal computer files, and extract data that was injurious to him. And when I say injurious to him, I mean about as injurious to the level of like 17 or 18 world economies. I'm sorry, country economies. That's how injurious it is.
And Amazon makes most of its money. the big umbrella company through AWS, Amazon Web Services. The storefront doesn't make a whole lot of money. Their web services, where they host all of this cloud activity, is so much of the profit that Amazon actually does make. And is this not a hell of an ad for AWS?
That's right, for privacy. I'm the richest man in the world, and I own the servers, and my data was leaked.
I just said this.
You can only imagine what happens to yours.
I have this audio image in my mind of Jeff Bezos going, "Hey Alexa, take a picture of this."
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Sweet, huh?
My tablet just started talking.
Yeah, and then he sees it. He says, "Sweet," and the thing goes, "Okay, tweet." And no, not tweet, you idiot.
I forgot that I had one of those. I'm not going to say her name again. One of those A-word devices.
Yeah, keep it face down when you're recording.
Well,
and,
it is.
And they don't. Oh.
It's face down on the.
Oh,
on the
it's
desk.
listening while it's face down.
Like 6 feet away. Yeah.
Dude.
It's a tablet. It's one of those Fire HD tablets.
Yeah, it's still not supposed to listen when you got it face down.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Number one, and this one, I'm just picking this topic because I figure both of you guys will be better informed on it than I am, and will be glad to talk about it, and then I could do like a 7-second close that involves my name, your names, the name of the show, and 1 more second of content.
Oh, that's the trick I pulled when I was taping down in Mexico.
Very slowly. So,
yeah.
The breaking news this morning, anyway, and who knows, this will change probably by the time we get this edited and posted, but is that there is some sort of a deal between President Trump and the Democrats in Congress, and that that President Trump is not altogether happy about the deal, but that he doesn't think there's going to be another government shutdown, which is tantamount to saying he's going to go along with it.
Yeah.
The bare outlines that I've heard so far is instead of $5 billion, it's something like $1.37 billion to build, instead of, I don't know, hundreds of miles of fence or wall. This will be some 55 miles of fence. And I guess I don't, at this point, we don't know what's going to happen. So I'm reluctant to slam him on this, but I know, guys, one of my concerns when he was running was that he is such a deal maker that he'll feel compelled to make a deal. And I'm wondering if a lot of people said that when they temporarily suspended the government shutdown and they gave it another 3 weeks, and a lot of Republicans are upset about that. And now we're going into the final days here before another attempt at a government shutdown. And it's starting to look like he's going to come away with magic beans.
Okay.
So we're going to get a beanstalk?
So
that would seem to go right over the wall.
I find myself in a weird position on this, too, because I'm actually not a wall advocate. I'm a strong borders advocate. I think we ought to have ways of doing that. But it's, to me, I think the wall has been more of a picture than it has been an effective tool. It's an avatar, it's an icon that explains an idea, and it's been a valuable one at that. So nevertheless, it is what the guy campaigned on.
Yeah. And
he waited too long to get it, and now, what, yeah. I guess, help me with this, because how do we position this so that the show isn't obsolete 3 hours after we post it?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
That is an excellent question with many variables
from here.
and angles to approach to reach a resolution.
What were you saying, Bill?
I said it's a where do we go from here kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a good question, because clearly, at least unless something stunning happens, there has been some suggestion on National Public Radio. I was listening while I was in the shower, and it's amazing when you do that. Listen to NPR while you're in the shower. You just feel like you'll never get the dirt off. But anyway,
you need to use lava in one of those Brillo pads.
There was
lava.
There was some suggestion that that he's basically saying, okay, yeah, we'll take this deal, and then he's going to go ahead and build what he wanted anyway.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I think somebody on Twitter was saying that Trump could actually get more money by accepting the meager amount that the Democratic Congress is willing to give him, plus what he can eke out of the military budget or discretionary spending or wherever it comes from, rather than if he chooses one or the other, he gets a smaller fixed sum. If he takes that and does the other thing, he gets more.
He's going to leverage it. What he should do is he should contact a friendly person who is running a nonprofit organization, or is in county government, or is a professor at a conservative university, and ask them to apply for a grant to research the building of a wall. And as part of that research, they would actually build a wall, and so they would get matching funds then from the federal government.
That's kind of genius. There's so many layers, so many programs, so many ways that we deliver money that we took from people, filter it through Washington, and then give it back to the people's local governments, that surely there's enough wiggle room to do exactly what you're saying.
I think there's plenty of wiggle room, and don't call me Shirley. So, and then my members only topic is actually our friend Spartacus, Senator Spartacus to you, who in a recent interview, this is the Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey, told a vegan magazine, and I'm a little perplexed as to how you would pronounce this, because it's a vegan magazine, so it's a hard G, okay, but the magazine is VEG News, all one word. So do I call that Veg News, or do I?
We'll call it Veg News.
Or Veg News? Veg.
I'm going to go with
Veg
Veg News is what they want, but Veg News sounds more like what it is.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just call it Vegan News? Vegan News would have been much better, but it's just Veg News or whatever. Anyway, Cory
Vegan
Booker,
News is a rival publication, and just it's an ugly mess. There's splitters.
So, Cory Booker says that this planet cannot sustain all of these people, and I thought he'd stop there and be a good Democrat, but he kept going and said, all of these people eating meat. So that's the problem. This planet just can't sustain all these meat eaters. And he said that earlier this month, he told the Vegan magazine earlier this month that he became a vegan. He didn't become a vegan earlier this month, after coming to the realization that eating eggs, quote, didn't align with my spirit.
That is some deep thinking right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, U.S. Senator Cory Booker.
What was the 19th century thing where they tell your future or your health or whatever it is by feeling your skull?
Oh. Yeah.
Starts with a PH.
It's not physiognomy.
Phrenology,
yes.
Yeah, we're making the phrenologists look like up and up, sharp, straight shooting, scientific whizzes.
Well, since he's a Democrat, and given the Democrats' recent cheerleading for the sanctity of human life, I might point out to him that what he's basically saying is the planet cannot support this many meat eaters, but the meat eaters are meat themselves, if you really think about it. And
sounds like a modest proposal.
There's a meat supply there that he's obviously not considering, and Soylent Green is
people.
It's people.
So he
delicious deep fried people.
He says the planet. He says this is a quote again from a U.S. senator. You see planet Earth moving toward what is the standard American diet, and this publication has chosen to capitalize standard American diet. That's sad.
Yeah.
You got me. So anyway, said we've seen a massive increase in consumption of meat produced by the industrial animal agriculture industry.
I don't believe he's right. Well, not in America. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe we eat more meat now than we did in the 60s and 70s. I don't believe it.
Well, I think he's saying worldwide.
Well, that's because other countries are coming out of poverty thanks to capitalism, and they're not eating, roots and berries anymore.
They don't have to eat the grass directly. They can process it through a steer.
Yep. What he's really talking about is reducing China and India back to eating grubs.
Well, that's essentially right. No, that's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Koreas, right? North Korea is a bankrupt socialist hellhole, like the whole world has always been.
They make tree bark soup.
Yeah, and South Korea, but how much taller are they? They're genetically identical. Is it 4 or 5 inches? Some insane.
Steve, is that where that expression came from? That somebody's going to cook up a mess of grub? Did that come from those third world nations where they were actually eating grubs?
Anyway. We're only 300 years out of abject poverty. It's an amazing thing we've achieved, and thank God we have the left to save us from all that.
I think that the hamburger exists because nobody wanted to eat grass directly. It's a way of eating grass without having to put grass in your mouth and chew and try to digest that crap.
I think somebody offered Ron Swanson a salad, and he said, "That's what my food eats."
Yeah. Salad is what food eats.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
I forget who told me. I think my brother, who is actually an animal scientist, once told me, if God didn't want us to eat animals, why did He make them out of meat? Oh, I can never remember jokes. That was one of the few that I remembered. Meat. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell that this is going to be a real think piece. This little adventure continues to be sustained and encouraged by the members at BillWhittle.com, who still, believe it or not, despite what you just heard, still go and give their $9.95 a month, or sometimes $49.95 a month, or somewhere in between, to support this enterprise. And we're grateful to those folks. If you would like to become part of the team and you somehow are illegally watching this members-only episode, we can make an honest man or woman out of you. Simply go to BillWhittle.com.
And we have pictures.
Alexa, take a picture of my member who's watching this show before he becomes a member. My future member.
Wow.
Sorry. Anyway, that's it. And there's no elegant way of getting out of that. So for Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, I'm Scott Ott. Thanks to the the M word. Have a great week. We'll see you soon on Right Angle.